In the small Peruvian town of Mere, one always encounters tourists who come to see the wonders of the ancient Inca civilization. Perfectly even, circular agricultural terraces sloping down into valleys make an enchanting sight when viewing these well-preserved structures. Near the city of Cusco in the southeastern part of Peru, next to you, in the city of Mara, there are other ruins from the time of the Inca civilization. Well, it is the terraced fountain that is the most popular among travelers and scientists. Now if you think about where and when the varieties of many agricultural crops appeared, a large number of varieties of corn, potatoes and other crops were grown in Peru on the terraces of the ancient Mere building from a height more resembling an ancient Greek theatre, at the bottom of the round bases. The big ones are in the middle. They are huge and descend to a depth of around 150 meters, resulting in a circular base between levels in each wall. There are some pretty cool designs that allow people to climb and descend from top to bottom. The steps of this staircase are quite unusual and about half a meter high. They are made in the form of protruding elongated structures, original for us and terraced. They are not built on a mountain slope, as usual, but between neighboring hills in the form of concentric circles. Setting falls the ideal shape of a circle to the most common and more plausible versions for these buildings were used as an agricultural laboratory due to the peculiarities of construction. All have an interesting property. The air temperature between levels varies within 5 to 8 degrees. This helped in the selection of the most suitable conditions for the cultivation of vegetables or cereals. Moreover, sunlight and atmosphere entered the terraces in different ways. The whole system so well arranged that this place is never completely flooded no matter how hard it rains. The scientists found that the soil was brought here from different regions of Peru, from the jungle, the subtropics and even the Andes. As a result of their activities they managed to build a complex system of water supply for plants. Agronomists of antiquity could find out the suitability of breeding certain seeds only under certain conditions. Later newly bred seeds were discovered in other Peruvian regions. This approach allowed you to increase the yield and improve its quality. However, this is the most likely, but not the only theory about the use of these terraces. A completely fantastic assumption is that these terraces could represent a pictogram, left behind by an unknown civilization, perhaps even extraterrestrial civilizations, supposedly representing the unification of humanity's creation and its transition into the next life cycle. But as you know, the truth is always around somewhere. This unusual geological formation called Devil's Descent is located in one canyon, Utah, USA. The slope of the canyon is quite wide, about 2.5 meters high, sides, has 2 parallel walls. The height is 12-14 meters. The length of this unusual object is 60 meters. The walls are made of hard slate limestone. Between them there is a softer one, which has been regularly washed by rainfall, say the scientists, and that it took nature several million years to create this natural corridor and give the mountain such a shape bit by bit. At this point, about 180 million years ago, there was a sea stretching from what is now Arizona to the Colorado River. Slowly but surely the water flowed between the hard plates. As the sea dried up, the formations on the surface of the earth became visible. According to another version, the softer center of the natural formation was washed out, rained and weathered by strong air currents. The most surprising thing is that the side walls are parallel to each other and this object looks too regular and symmetrical, which is why some researchers believe that the version with nature is very doubtful. Devil's Descent appeared because local people are sure that Devil's Descent was once created for specific needs, such as removing excess from the top of the gorge, and was later destroyed by the armed forces, since limestone is a fairly soft rock. When and how this strange forehead formed over the Indian lunar meteor sea, few people have heard from tourists visiting this exotic country, but we claim that it happened more than 50,000 years ago as a result of a collision of a celestial body with the Earth's surface formed and is regularly examined by geological surveys and scientists. An amazing sight opens up, an almost uniform perimeter, a huge crater filled with a muddy green liquid with a pungent smell, along the banks of the ruins of a temple. Since a meteorite falls rather conditionally, it has been confirmed more than once and disproved more than once, with recent studies in 2010 showing that an earlier time 500,000 years ago to that age by scientists was brought. But no one can give a 100% guarantee, especially considering that since the 19th and early 20th centuries it has been known for certain that the game was of volcanic origin, and they gave the exorbitant figure of 65 million years. And now they have not even found fragments of a meteorite, but after discovering a huge amount of basalt on the walls of the region, scientists painted the following picture. A comet weighing about 2 million tons and about 60 meters in diameter entered the atmosphere and pierced the Earth's crust at an angle of 35 to 40 degrees. A collision speed of over 90,000 kilometers per hour allowed the alien guest to immediately burrow to a depth of 600 meters, where according to some researchers it is still buried under debris in a lake of water. Another version says that the celestial object split into 3 parts when they collided with the Earth, thus formed 3 craters and accordingly 3 lakes. In support of this version, the fact that there are actually 2 other lakes nearby is true of rather modest sizes. The residents of the surrounding villages have been calling the lake located in the crater for many thousands of years, with the strange word, Tarotutha, which can be translated as a lake created by a fallen star along the rim. 14 temples built in the 12th-13th centuries hid in the thicket around the lake. Unfortunately, almost all of them were destroyed. A sacred place that attracts 1,000 Hindus. For local residents not interested in explorers, there is only one major mystery: which lake, about a few hundred meters deep and almost 2 kilometers in diameter, seems to have water all year round, remains filled somewhere. There are still some not drying up springs connected to the river. Of course, this is far from all the mysteries connected to the lake. One of the phenomena of this object is that it consists essentially of 2 different liquids and they never mix. That is, the outer part of the lake has a neutral environment and the inner one has an alkaline one. Both parts of the lake have their own flora and fauna different from each other, which is so mysterious and still inexplicable. Not only does it have magnetic properties in some places, but rock crystal also grows in some places, and its hull, despite its fame, cannot be envied by many clean lakes. Scientists have recorded dozens of species of birds here, such as herons, blue-throated parakeets and larks, and of the animals living here, monitor lizards, langurs and gazelles. Thanks to a series of mysteries of constant research and rich history, Lake Luna is gradually gaining popularity. Usually one crosses bridges as follows: gorges in a gorge and usually has a 2-sided design. But all this does not apply to this structure, which is discussed in 3 directions. Secondly, it does not cross anything. In fact, this bridge is on land. The structure has 3 stairways that converge at the top, which is why the bridge is called double. Site Central of England, 15 kilometers northeast of the city of Petersburg, is a large 14th century stone arch bridge, standing next to the Natalia Track Road junction. Of course, the bridge was not built on level ground without reason. Long ago it crossed the confluence and land. Its tributary might have been an unusual, inexpensive solution to cross 3 water streams in one place. It didn't require the construction of 3 separate bridges. In the 17th century, during the course of reclamation, the flow of the canal was diverted slightly to the side by Rick William, thereby depriving the bridge of its original purpose, and now the bridge is a monument of medieval architecture.
What's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.